If you've been watching the channel recently, you will know that the BMW iX3 has made quite a positive impression on us. So much so that we made it our Electrifying.com car of the year. It charges really quickly, it's got loads of range, the tech is brilliant. But we're not here to talk about that car. We're here to talk about this one and see if it can knock the BMW off its top spot. Say hello to the all-new, all-electric Mercedes GLC. I think we have to start with this, don't we? The new illuminated Mercedes Grille with its star pattern detailing, which is going to appear on all models going forward, so you're going to have to get used to it. Yes, it's bold, yes, it's big, but I had an interesting chat with the design director yesterday, and he was saying that this is basically them leaning into the past heritage, as hopefully you can see as examples appear on the screen now. So it's basically an acknowledgement that there are loads of newcomers coming into this market. Lots of different new brands arriving from China basically. And they want to remind everyone that they've been around for a while and basically invented the car. So look, I was really sceptical about this when I saw it in pictures or on videos. And Nick has a great first look video of this with a lot more detail than I'm going to go into today, because this video is going to be more about the driving and how it feels on the road. Anyway, now I'm here. I like it, and it really surprised me. It's the first time I've seen this car, and I do think it looks great. I think it suits the proportions. However, I think it will also be divisive. A Marmite grill, as we like to say in the UK. So let us know what you think about it in the comments below, because let's face it, you're not going to miss one of these behind you in the road, are you? And you won't miss it when it does its light show. Cue light show. Let's put the light show to one side for a second, because when it comes to the rest of the design, this is classic Mercedes, just dialed up a notch. It's evolution, not revolution. Around the back, there's the now standard full-width light bar, a cleaner tailgate, and stars in the lights, tying it to the front. Very different to the BMW iX3 in terms of looks, and also to the next big rival, the forthcoming Volvo EX60. From launch, there's just one battery, a 94.5 kilowatt-hour pack. Now that's smaller than the iX3, so no 500-mile headlines, but Merc does claim up to 406 miles of WLTP, which is still all right in the real world. Charging peaks at 330 kilowatts, a bit behind BMW and Volvo on paper, but in ideal conditions, Mercedes says you can add around 185 miles in 10 minutes. It's competitive, but that is of course theoretical, and we will test it out properly when we get it in the UK. Right then, let's get on with what you clicked on for, shall we? The first drive. So the GLC comes with a dual motor all-wheel drive setup, and that is standard right across the range. Now this is the posh one, of course it is. It's the 404matic, it's got two motors, combined output of 289 horsepower, 800 newton meters of torque. It is pretty fast. 0 to 62 takes just 4.3 seconds. The top speed is 130 miles per hour, which I think we can all agree is plenty. Not to mention pretty impressive for a car that weighs not just shy of 2.5 tons. So yes, this is a punchy family SUV, but it doesn't have that ridiculous kick in the guts acceleration that you get in some cars. I think it feels more restrained. It's there right throughout the range. It feels nice and controlled, which I like. Now, like the BMW iX3, it gets a convention steel spring suspension set up as standard, but of course it has the option of a lovely wafty air suspension system, which of course this one has. And I think I'm right in saying it shares that with the S-Class, and it really is very, very nice. But I am going to point out this is part of the refinement package, which will set you back an extra £2,500. Is it worth it? Personally, I think it makes such a big difference to the driving experience, particularly on the rubbish roads we have in the UK that I drive a lot on, that I always think air suspension is something that if you can afford to add on, you should go for. And cleverly, you can now raise and lower the ride height of this just using voice activation. Now, the voice activation is really pretty good. We've been playing around with it, and actually I asked it, what were some good alternatives to the Mercedes GLC? And she very, very kindly suggested some of the competition, so let's give it a go. Hi Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Could you tell me some good alternatives to the Mercedes GLC?
I can't recommend competitor products or alternatives to Mercedes vehicles. However, I can assist you with information about the Mercedes GLC or answer any other questions you might have.
I swear to God, when we were driving here on the motorway, I asked her that question and she did suggest some competitor products. If I was wanting to buy a GLC, what other cars should I consider?
The Mercedes-Benz GLC is a premium SUV that offers a blend of luxury, performance, and technology. If you're considering the GLC, you might also look at other luxury SUVs such as the BMW X3, Audi Q5, and Lexus RX. Each of these models provide similar levels of comfort and features, though they differ in style and driving experience. It's always a good idea to test drive and compare to see which best suits your preferences.
So yes, back to the car, the driving position. Not because the car set it up for me, which I did quite like, but because it doesn't feel too perchy. So yes, it's an SUV, yes, it's a raised ride height and there's a massive battery sitting under this, but I don't feel too perched. I think it has quite a nice centre of gravity to it. And what is lovely on roads like this is the steering. It's got a very nice feel to the steering. It's got a decent weight to it. And if you opt for that air suspension system, it also comes with rear wheel steering. So this adjusts the angle of the rear wheels by up to 4.5 degrees. And it's a real bonus when you're driving around town or you're in tight spots. So I do think, again, something that you should think about speccing. The turning circle itself is actually really good. It's just 11.2 metres. Fun fact for you, the VW ID3 turning circle is similar and it's actually better than its rival, the BMW iX3, which has a turning circle of, I think, 12.1 metres. Am I making that up? But I know it was a point score for the Mercedes. Now I'm going to talk about my favourite thing, the regenerative braking system. It has a new system. It's been designed to put way much more energy into the battery. So like most of the new gen regen systems, it works with braking and coasting. The difference this time is how much energy it can feed back. So Mercedes reckons that if you're using heavy braking, that real one pedal driving, it can channel as much as 300 kilowatts of power back into the battery, and it is really nicely set up. Both of them work really well. The one pedal driving though, I'll caveat by saying it is strong, it is super strong. I really like that. If you're new to it, it might feel a bit much. So you can adjust the levels, and of course you can put it in the automatic version if you want. Now, like the CLA, the GLC gets a 2-speed gearbox on the rear axle. First gear, great for punchy acceleration, really good for towing. And incidentally, as I said, just as a reminder, 2.4 tonnes it can tow. That second gear, well, that's really where you'd use it on the motorway. It really helps with efficiency, although you're not actually using it and doing anything because it's just automatically happening behind the scenes. Now, here is a little bonus that I've experienced from our drive today. Manos has not felt travel sick once. I've not had to pull over, do any lay-by dashes for Manos to be sick. If you didn't know, Manos gets very travel sick, so the Manos test is always, for me, a really good one for how well the car drives, how nicely the suspension is set up. This has passed the Manos test. We haven't broken him today. Yet.
It's mainly the drivers usually, not the cars.
He's so cheeky. I think we need to return to the screen for a moment because it's just so extra, isn't it? Right, the entry-level sports model gets two modest 14-inch displays. The mid-spec A and G line gets what it calls a super screen, and that adds another display for the passenger. But if you really blow the budget and go for the A and G line Premium Plus or the Premier Edition, you get this, the 39.1-inch Hyperscreen. That is almost a metre wide. It is massive. It's going to be really divisive. For me, I think it's a bit much, but it does some really clever stuff that I'll show you in a minute. And I do have to say, the system itself is so slick. quick to respond, intuitive. The graphics are incredible. All the connectivity you would expect, CarPlay, Android Auto, over-the-air updates. This new system is the first to integrate AI from both Microsoft and Google. What it does is works out which one is best. It pits them against each other. It decides which one has given you the best answer and it gives you that one. It's so clever. Mercedes says it's like chatting to a friend. I wouldn't disagree with that, but I spend so much time in the car with noisy teenagers and dogs that actually I don't want to be chatting to a friend all the time. But it's definitely brilliant when you do need it to give you an answer. But shall I show you my favourite bit about this car? Something that I didn't even know existed in Mercedes cars. And you know what? I'm betting that you didn't too. Autumn seat position. You can set your height. And when I start positioning, what it does, it's calculating, based on all the measurements it has of the car, what my ideal driving position should be. And you know what? It's almost bang on. I think I might lower the top of the steering wheel a tad, because I've got longer legs and a shorter body, just in case you're wondering. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I genuinely didn't know it did that, which makes me feel like a really bad motoring journalist. Look, you know all the rest of the stuff. It's got all the modes and all the different mood things, and I've opted for one called Surf because we're by the ocean. Other than that, cup holders are good. I can fit my massive tea in. Dual wireless charging. Actually, materials feel nice. It feels well put together. Some of the plastics are a bit meh down at the bottom of the door panels, but, you know, that's a very motoring journalist thing to moan about, isn't it? Decent storage. As I said, if you want the full lowdown, check out Nicola's video. But that little thing, that has made my day. Oh, you know what else has made my day? Red seat belts. I don't know why, but I just love brightly coloured seat belts. I love the ones in a Polestar. I'm having the red seat belts, please. Now, if you're switching from the internal combustion engine GLC to this, you're going to notice straight away there's more space in the back. Longer wheelbase, so you get more leg room and you'll get quite a bit more headroom as well. This is set for Manos, who is 6'2", and as you can see, I have got stacks of room in here. There is a lot of space, and there's a really nice generous scoop as well under the front seats for you to slide your feet under. Kind of wish that was lovely steel. That actually feels a bit nicer, but I kind of wish that wasn't plastic. But, you know, we are where we are. I love this panel roof. You get this sky control that allows you to switch it from clear to opaque, or you can have opaque shapes across it at the touch of a button. And if you go for one of the top 2 levels, you basically get a starry sky up there. Now, I mentioned towing a bit in the driving stuff. And actually, towing is where it scores quite a big win. It can tow up to 2.4 tonnes, almost 400 kilograms more than the BMW iX3. So if you regularly tow a caravan or a boat or a horse box, that could be a winner for you. But what it isn't is class leading. The Porsche Macan can tow a bit more, 2.5 tonnes. So boot space is always a big deal in this class, and it does score well. So it's interesting when you weigh up against the competition, or maybe that's just me who needs to get out more. With the seats up, you get 520 litres, exactly the same as the BMW iX3. Fold them down, 1,690, slightly less than the BMW iX3, but still very usable. However, throw the forthcoming Volvo EX60 into the mix and you'll see that's the king of practicality. 634 litres with the seats up. So yes, on the battle of the boots, the forthcoming Volvo wins, but this is still pretty vast, isn't it? And also quite comfy. Actually, I could have a picnic in here. Oh, but I need to show you the Frunk because it's magic. Come and look at this. Oh. Which ones of you watching regularly use your Frunk? Because I do not believe you, because Frunks are a faff to get into, aren't they? Just look at this. You press the button, you do that, and there it is. How easy is that? And then it is massive. It's 100 litres. That's more than double the Frunk on the BMW. But it's less about how much you can cram in here, and this is Manos' massive backpack and charging cables, and you could get your wellies in. It's just about this. Why has nobody thought of this before? Remember the CLA charging fuss? When it arrived in the UK, it couldn't use all the rapid chargers. That is fixed, so this car gets a converter as standard, so no issues with those older 400-volt chargers. It also gets a heat pump as standard, which helps efficiency, especially in winter, as I guess it should at this price. My only gripe? AC charging is 11 kilowatts. If you want 22, it's a £1,000 option, which feels a bit stingy on a car like this. Pricing? Well, you're going to be shelling out just over £60,000 for the entry level, and it is very easy to end up closer to £73,000 with all the options. The BMW undercuts it on starting prices. That kicks off at just under £59,000, and that is with the bigger 108 kilowatt hour battery and a headline 400 kilowatt charging figure. And then, of course, there's the Volvo EX60 starting in the mid-50s and just claiming the longest range in the class. It's going to be an interesting battle when we can get our hands on these three. Time to say goodbye to the GLC for now. And I've got to say, I've been really surprised by it in a very good way. I wasn't expecting to like this as much as I do after having spent time with it. I do think the grille looks good. I think it works with the whole portions of the car. I think the technology on it is fantastic. It's not there to overcomplicate things. It just does the job really well. That brake regen, I love. You know, I used to think of Mercedes as the kind of car that old people took to the golf course. But you know, now it's got a different vibe. I think what's really exciting though is the fact this is joining the BMW iX3, and then we've got the Volvo EX60 coming. And what this shows is that the legacy car makers are massively upping their game when it comes to electrification, and that is absolutely brilliant. Can't wait to get the three of them together. So come on, what do you make of the all-new, all-electric Mercedes GLC? Drop a comment, and while you're there, please do subscribe.